Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Alex, and today we're going to be talking about the MacBook Air 2020. Now, there's a bunch of different variety of options when it comes to computers nowadays, especially when it comes to laptops. So you've got Windows laptops, you've got the iPad Pro, you've got the MacBook Pro, and you've got the MacBook Air now. The MacBook Air has been Apple's most popular laptop for a long time now, and it's also the cheapest laptop you can get from Apple now. Now, that being said, let's talk about pricing. So this guy starts at $999, which is a pretty solid price for an Apple laptop. And if you do have an .edu college email, you can get this guy for $900. So pretty sweet deal when it comes to an Apple laptop. My first impression when the laptop came in was, wow, it kind of looks the same. No changes in design, but the Magic Keyboard has returned, my friends. So keyboard reliability is better. Whether or not you like the old butterfly switches, they're gone. I kind of hated them. There were a ton of issues with the keys outside of personal preference though. Durability was bad. Tons of reports on the keys being defective after dust particles and debris would get in the switch, and then the switch would be ultimately defective. So with a new Magic Keyboard, you're not going to get those defective switches anymore. Apple also has been slowly phasing back this keyboard as time has gone on when it comes to new products. So scissor switches are ultimately quieter, they have more travel, which is something I really like when typing. You also notice the keyboard layout, it's backlit, same thing we've gotten used to from Apple, but now we have inverted T arrow keys. So a good, nice little update on this keyboard. Touch ID is also still here, which is a feature that I really happen to enjoy. It's super snappy on login. Using it for online payments like Apple Pay is great when you don't want to fuss typing in payment information. You can just go ahead, pop your finger on it, and you're good to go. No touch bar, you'll still find that only on the Pro model, but the entire form factor is great. The Force trackpad is still awesome, and one of my favorite trackpads on a laptop in general. We're also seeing the same display here, which is good. It's not the brightest panel in the world, colors are good, it gets the job done for basic things. Now, Apple did increase the base storage on this guy from, I believe, 128 to 256 now, which was about time. So you have increased headroom for storage on the base model, and you can also choose between 8 gigs of RAM or 16 gigs of RAM. By the way, if you're a Chrome user that has a pretty hefty workflow, I'd definitely check out the upgraded RAM options because 8 gigs with a lot of tabs, you're going to start seeing it slow down. You can also now choose between a dual core or a quad core CPU, all 10th gen Intel. Now, I would suggest taking a look at the quad core model for the extra $100. For basic web browsing, it's not going to make a massive difference, but you are going to have that extra headroom if you do want to throw more intensive tasks at this laptop. Performance is solid, not phenomenal, but enough for basic tasks. It has Iris Plus graphics now. You're not going to be able to do any gaming on this guy, obviously, but you do have the extra headroom when it comes to graphical power on the new Intel 10th gen. So when it comes to actual everyday performance on this laptop, I don't do super intensive things on my laptop. I'd rather switch it over and do it on my desktop. But for basic tasks like video editing or just basic coding or watching content, stuff that a student could be doing or just someone using this laptop for work, you're definitely going to be able to crush any task you throw at it in terms of the basic stuff. The speakers are also still good, louder and fuller than the iPad Pro speakers, but not as good as the MacBook Pro speakers, which pretty much have one of the best speakers on laptops on the market right now. They're really loud, but these laptop speakers work pretty well for the most part. Apple's also claiming all-day battery life on this guy, which was around 11 hours. However, I was getting more about 9 to 9.5 hours, so around that range. So the entire package for the most part has been solid throughout my usage, but there are some downsides. Let's talk about that. Number 1, the webcam is kind of trash. YouTube doesn't even consider 720p HD anymore, so this webcam is kind of potatoey for the most part. And nowadays, everyone is really using these webcams, so adding a true selfie camera would be nice to have, but time will tell. Number 2 is the heat issues. So this laptop isn't thermal throttling or overheating. It's designed to run hot. Now, it's pretty much running hot on a constant basis. Even with simple programs open, the CPU is running warm. It's designed to do this. It's just something to point out. There's also no Wi-Fi 6 support like we've seen on the iPad Pro. However, we can still find a rare gem nowadays on the side of the laptop, a headphone jack. By the way, the 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports support high-end displays like the Pro Display XDR, but I don't know who actually owns a Pro Display XDR and would be using a MacBook Air as their daily computer, but if you're a crazy person out there, you can do that. Apple also included the T2 chip on this laptop, so you're gonna have increased security and optimization on certain tasks. Like, for example, H.265 video renders and audio processing is improved in terms of speed, and your fingerprint data is gonna be more secure. So that's pretty much it. This laptop is pretty easy to recommend for basic needs, and if you're on the higher end of performance, you can get a MacBook Pro. Now, you can also get Windows laptops if you want to get more price to performance in terms of something like a Dell XPS or the AMD Ryzen laptops. They're getting really good now. So some people are going to swear by Mac OS because they're already in the Apple ecosystem, which is totally fine. Some people just like it over Windows, and it's totally understandable. Now, for $1,000 on the base model, $1,100 if you get the i5, maybe upgrade the RAM, it's a pretty good price range for anyone that does want an Apple laptop and does basic tasks. So that's been the video, guys. Catch you guys in the next one. Let me know what else you guys want to see. Thanks for watching. More videos coming this week.